During COVID-19, have you found your personal and work identities merging when working from home? The development of digital technologies and literacies has shaped people's identities in different domains, such as education and personal lives. The digital age significantly influenced social change with the introduction of telecommunications and other resources, which allow us to communicate on a global level through wireless capability that is constantly evolving. Throughout the pandemic, many people had to resort to online resources for education and work purposes, having to adapt to online activities that would usually occur in person. Within this screencast, I aim to explore how digital learning is multiliterate and the ways this shaped identity during the COVID-19 pandemic. So what is defined as literacy? According to the Cambridge Dictionary, literacy is the ability to read and write, and to have competence or knowledge in a specified area. Literacy was understood as a psycholinguistic model, as a set of skills to be required in schooling. Although Burnett, Davies, Merchant and Rosell stated that literacy has since developed, as it was reconceptualized as a social practice, which refers to the idea of new literacy studies. There are now perspectives of literacy that have different assumptions and theoretical positions that have now changed the way we view literacy. Hall suggested that learning to read and write means that we are reading in a context for real purpose, making literacy both social as well as cognitive. It can be recognised that a child's literacy learning is encouraged by their homeschool congruence. This can link to Vygotsky's theory, sociocultural theory. Davidson explains that children's development in literacy is influenced by their cultural, social and historical context, meaning their interpretation of written and spoken language is influenced by these factors. Although digital literacies were created through the development of different literacy practices alongside development of digital technologies, inevitably people need the skills to read and write in order to understand and use digital media. But by mediating online communication and digital activity, we further develop our understanding that literacy isn't just about these skills. Due to the mass amounts of new multimodal resources within digital media, there are now many ways to produce spoken and written language. Sociocultural theory and new literacy studies both say that you can learn new skills and literacies through social interaction. Having means of communication through a digital space shows that the technology is now available to us on new domains in which we use literacy. So how does this link to sociocultural theory? Identity and literacy is often interwoven within e-communication platforms such as social networks. Affordances used that practice digital literacy can vary from pictures we may like or share, as well as functions we can use such as status moods. When the move to online learning occurred, the concept of space could be seen as blurred. Lefebvre stated that spatial practice was about continuity and cohesion, namely, people doing a series of practices and room behaviours in a specific space, for example, relaxing or sleeping in a bedroom, or in an educational setting such as a classroom, there will be children writing and teachers teaching. Goffman's concept of everyday self can be seen to link with this. Goffman recognises that people employ a set of tropes for specific spaces. He states that the self is a collection of performances that take place across specific locations, meaning people show different identities when in an opposing space, such as at home, work or school, or with friends. Studies show that school in general can often restrict identity development within students, whereas a cyberspace without restrictions would allow or even promote new ways of performing identity. When the merge to online learning occurred, it could be said that the home space was forced to embrace a multitude of intersections. By referring to Goffman's concept of the everyday self, the identities we usually perceive at school have mixed with the backstage self that we usually portray at home. For example, students would usually carry a professional and formal attitude when in an educational setting, but learning from home is all done through unrestricted home computers, which can contain more personal domains such as social networks. Formal attitude could also disappear since allowing a camera isn't always a requirement, meaning they could be in their pajamas when working. Additionally, sociocultural background can have more influence on students' learning since their parents would have more interaction with their education from home, further shaping their identity. So, with all that said, do you feel that online learning has allowed you to further express your identity? Or have you felt the merging of your identities has altered your everyday self?